Aujourd'hui, je vais parler de my anti-advertisement spiel against what I see on personal finance spaces all the time on the internet, okay? Yeah, that promotional financial tips that sounds reasonable but are mostly, let's be clear, total BS, okay? At least usually. So we're going to address that. Hey, Ozempic here. Okay, to be fair, I made my money via the industry of advertising, so I do have a special place in my heart for the field of what I would usually call mass propaganda. But now that I've been retired for quite a few years, I feel like I can finally poke more explicit fun at that industry. Obviously, I am all over the personal finance space because for me, talking about money management is not only not a drag, but actually quite entertaining. And I noticed that no matter where I am in the subreddit, for FIRE or Facebook groups, for all these topics like personal finance or money or financial independence, I keep getting the same-ish generic money advice ads. So today's topic is quite simple. I'm going to take one of those examples, and it usually looks like a post from a self-proclaimed financial nerd, a top 5 advice on how to help normal people. And I'm going to give my opinion as to whether any of this advice is helpful or relevant, right? I'm not saying it's impossible for advertising to be helpful, but you can probably guess I'm a bit of a cynic, so you can probably guess which direction I'm leaning in, okay? As always, please support the channel. I am just winging it today. Like, subscribe, all that social media buzzwords. But honestly, it doesn't really matter to me because I'll be great because I am rich enough for me, okay? Now, the first 2 points of these top 5 advice usually are telling people that you are overpaying for car insurance or online shopping via main portals such as Amazon, right? I'm grouping these 2 points together because the general gist is the same. Basically, they're saying you need to shop around when buying stuff or services on the internet. I guess this sounds like a reasonable advice, but my problem is that it's pretty juvenile. I mean, do normal people literally never learn how to shop around when shopping? I mean, the first example they gave was car insurance. There are literally multiple websites devoted to comparison shopping. And the other thing, Amazon purchases, I mean, I think the very least thing that any consumer can do is just compare prices from Amazon versus its largest landed competitor, which is Walmart, right? That's what I do. Is that not the MO for normal people at this point in internet history? Now, I think this general piece of advice, is really only relevant for a teenager who's never had to deal with money before. Because after those formative years, if you don't comparison shop online, I'm pretty sure that implies that you as a consumer is probably just terrible with money and, probably wouldn't be in internet space to get financial advertisements to begin with. Now, the second general point, again, I'm going to consolidate their points 3 to 4, which is dealing with debt on your own or really needing a financial advisor to help you manage your money, right? I mean, this whole point is basically just says, hey, you're not professional enough to deal with money stuff on your own. That's why you need professional help. Again, the ad makes it sound like separate points, but I think it's really just padding. They just imply that normal people can't possibly manage their own money on their own. Again, I think it makes sense why this advice is in an advertisement because, the result of an ad is get you to spend money on some vendor or service. But I'm here to tell you most normal personal finance topics are pretty easily learned on the internet, and a financial professional is really not a necessity. It's a want, not a need, okay? I'm not saying that nobody should get a professional for help if your financial situation is complex in terms of debt or income or whatever, but I think it's a very small slice of the population. I'd reckon much less than 1% even, okay? For example, if you simply owe money in more than one place, as many Americans do, that to me is not a complex enough situation to require professional help. If anything, having, debt should make you wary of spending even more money that's not an actual need. Same with financial advisors. I've mentioned this before. I wouldn't even dream of having one of those until I'm worth at least 8 figures, okay, which I'm pretty sure is out of the reach for most Americans before they die, right? I'm still, to be honest, I'm a millionaire and I still think I'm a pretty small fry in the grand scale of things. So I'm not including most new millionaires even in this group. So yeah, professional money management, that's a want, not a need. So if you're thinking about it, please really ponder for a while before splurging, okay, because it is a splurge. Now, the advertisement's final piece of advice, or warning, so to speak, is that, hey, leaving your money in a non-high yield savings account is bad. Okay, now, maybe this is a surprise, but I do actually agree with this piece of advice, okay? I suspect there's a reason why this was number 5 out of 5 of financial advice. This is literally the only piece of financial advice that I think normal people absolutely should take if they don't do that already, because in 2025 it is pretty easy to find a high yield savings account that pays at least 3 to 4% in terms of APR, right? While if you simply let your cash linger in your checking account or the savings account of a major banking institution where you usually do your checking, okay, the APR you'd be getting would be, I don't know, 1/10 of that, maybe even less. So why wouldn't anybody get better returns, right? So normal people would think there must be a downside to this. Okay, let me be clear. I think the negative is simply convenience, right? Most people are lazy. Maybe you don't want to deal with an additional banking institution if you don't have to. And that's fair. I guess it just depends on whether you like a bit of extra free money essentially given to you in exchange for that bit of minor inconvenience. For me personally, I do operate our joint household budget. And if I simply keep my cash mostly in the high yield savings account until I need to use it in my checking, I net out a few extra $100 a year, okay? For me, that's totally worth the effort of simply having to transfer funds from one place to another on a monthly basis. I mean, I think about it like this. A couple of $100, that's my entire gaming budget for that year. So I think totally worth it. Cool. So in conclusion, it turns out I am not against all the advice given on some random personal finance ad. The point given is only mostly BS, right? 4 out of 5 are useless generalist drivel that I think most responsible adults should have known well before getting to be an adult. Now, am I expecting too much out of normal people though? Is it possible some of them have never learned to comparison shop? I guess that it's possible. It's hard for me to imagine because I don't surround myself with the most average of people as friends, I guess, but that's really a me problem. And besides, the high yield savings account tip is actually both actionable and relevant and good. So I guess my real point is this: you cannot depend on marketing or advertising people to have your best interest at heart because they just want your money at the end of the day for a service, right? Instead, the solution is obviously listening to internet strangers such as me because, well, I do this out of pride alone and to prove that, yes, I am the best at giving advice on this particular subject. Feel free to disagree, yell at me below. That's what the internet is for people to yell at each other, okay? Until next time, cheers. A la prochaine.